Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon to all of you joining in from all parts of the world. Due to slight technical issues, we had to start this session a little late. We're always particular about being on time. But we're glad to have you all here with us today in another series of Insights with Upgrad. And with us, we have a very, very special guest today. Uh, Before I go on to introduce him, just quick understanding for all of you. Put your questions in the Q&A box and put any other queries you may have in the chat box or any questions that Shashank is asking you during the session. Please feel free to use the chat box. But if you want him to pick questions at the end of the session, do mention it in the Q&A box. And with that, without further ado, introducing Shashank Bajpai, who is the Chief Information Security Officer at ECGC Limited. And he is a subject matter expert in cybersecurity technology and information security compliance for financial services in India, and is currently servicing as the CISO. And I will allow Shashank to go on and introduce himself in further detail, and also the topic for which you all are so excited to hear from him on career opportunities in software development. Over to you, Shashank.
Yeah, thank you, Medha. Thank you for that quick introduction. And I'm a technocrat. I mean, that's what I introduce myself. I've been in the technology field for more than a decade as a senior position, and obviously led technology consulting as well as security advisory across various geographies as a consultant with one of the big fours. So that is about me, and I will just quickly share the screen wherein I have my slide put up. So yeah.
Can see your screen.
Thank you. So yeah, briefly, as Medha said, the context, we are here to discuss the career opportunities, and as well as what exactly what are the lookouts or what are trends in the software development field, and not just software development itself, how the technology landscape itself is hardly impacted with different initiatives as well as different scenarios which are existing in our current ecosystem as of now. Yeah, I guess there's a poll going on. That would really help to get the years of experience, or that understand the choices also. So you can quickly answer that. And with regard itself, the very upfront, which many of developers ask, that I'm currently a developer, and should I continue to be a developer in this journey, or I'm a software engineer. I have very much enthusiasm towards developing niche technologies or development into various different fields, but I can continue to be developer for my further growth. And let's look at what the industry insights gave it to us, that do you want to become people managers or project managers? And surprisingly, they were like around 51.3% says that it's not required as of now, because why it is there, we'll obviously have further discussion on that. But the primary task is that in the technology landscape is changing, and with the regards of changing, I mean, it is getting exposed, it is getting cyber connected, it is getting exposed to various different forms of digital initiatives, as well as hyper connectivity in telecom domains. And that is where it is all driving from, and that's where we can continue to be developers, as well as envisage ourselves as good technocrats. That's why I said I call myself as a technocrat, because the technology continues to be innovating itself over the 5-6 years we have seen. So let's understand what is the technology landscape as it exists as of now. The technology landscape that exists now, or has been existing for a little while now, is the information age, or the IT age, which was evolved from different web services, web application development, mobile application development, and everything. It is evolving, or definitely from 2G to 3G to 4G, but that evolution has been very swift. I mean, that is where we see a lot of application stack getting changed, at least in the telecom enterprise, as well as the aided facilities. once cloud computing adoption has also kind of accelerated this kind of activities, wherein we see there was a lot of apprehension for for especially from financial services point of view, the industry which I have worked for long. They had still a little bit of apprehension with regards to financial data or transactional data moving on to cloud. But slowly and steadily, when that is phasing out, and we are seeing a lot of public sector as well as private sector enterprises kind of adopting cloud. Federal governments, federal institutes are also adopting Microsoft Azure or AWS, or even Google Cloud based applications. And then the legacy systems are becoming the three-tier applications like web app and database as being a typical application architecture. No more the COBOL mainframe-based applications. They are already very, very obsolete. No, they are not called as legacy. The legacy applications for the current world is three-tier architectures, because there is a lot of API-based integrations which are happening between different businesses. We see across geographies in the entire development in the development world that the developments are developing API-friendly REST framework-based API frameworks which are globally connected, and it is within integration with these APIs is so swift that we do not have to invest too much on developing a certain application infrastructure in itself. So that is driving the entire growth pattern. On the data part, it all started with the Hadoop and hyper data connectivity and big data clouds and everything which was there, data warehouses and data lakes, which are prominently used for data analytics and reporting. But we are seeing a swift change in that phenomenon with the adoption of cloud and rise of Tableau-like softwares, wherein it has been very, very responsive, and they have been putting up a lot of data engineering scientists and data scientists kind of profiles. So this is the growth pattern. So that is where it is said that technology is a vital support to business. That is what is happening, be it legacy business or a petrochemical business or a pharmaceutical business. Everyone relies on technology now, and it is a vital support to the business. But we will see at the futuristic or very near future things, and as it says on the slide, isn't it already here? Because many of things we are seeing is already getting adopted, and thanks to pandemic. I mean, pandemic is really a sad state which has impacted human health life, but the technology adoption rate has exponentially grew in past 2-3 years, which I've seen since 2019 to 21. There have been devastating changes in technology landscape, and when I say that, it is because of the various technology companies coming forward and taking up this initiatives, be it in the edtech space or on the fintech space, or various technology aided, be it health tech or agri-tech. Everywhere, every other industry is now a tech enabled industry, and that is where the near future, as I said, is already here. The age of information has gone by. I mean, it is a cyber age. That's what we cybersecurity experts call it, because all the systems are connected. I mean, you consider your end day-to-day lifestyle itself. We have our social digital presence, very next to our application infrastructure, which is being used for enterprise. So it is very, very connected. We have our entire portfolios aligned and everything, profiles aligned and everything. So that is where we are completely connected. And the rate at which 5G is getting adopted is very, very exponential, as well as we are seeing a lot of applications being developed for 5G enterprises. And whether 5G, I do not mean the end customer as using 5G, even the enterprises, or it's like behemoth of enterprises like maybe say oil refineries and other companies also. They are looking at 5G as short microwave communicator devices, and that is actually driving IoT as a vertical in itself, because IoT has its own application infrastructure. With regards to cloud, I said, there was still apprehension with adoption, but now we see cloud native app development, full stack development, getting, comprehensive, adhesive mechanisms like Sec DevOps. We no more had the Sec DevOps teams, getting aligned together, because security engineering was completely different. Development was a different arm in itself with the chief information officer, and CTO always handled the technical operations part. But now we are seeing something like a comprehensive, we can see it's like a convergence of all these three different verticals within the IT infrastructure because of definitely because of cloud. And this is get risen to a different kind of engineers which we require now. We don't want typical infra operations or system admins or someone who are being database admins. We want someone who has that end-to-end view, right? Who is managing both security, development, operations, who understands the entire full stack. That's where the full stack developers are, getting hired a lot. And when I say full stack, is no more that we want looking at a kind of a back-end developers or maybe a UI UX developer. We look at a developer who understands the UI UX and also decides what the user interface would be governing at the backend application services. So he's writing the services as well as he's understanding what the user interface would look like for that particular service he has written at the backend. So that is what is driving the entire software engineering. We'll definitely have a quick view onto that also. When I talk about application architecture, it's also getting changed from the typical three-tier architecture to understanding of API gateways, RESTful APIs getting exposed across different technologies. All the third-party aggregators and party aggregators who are trying to do a lot of business changes as well as data exchanges are all happening via APIs. From a security arm where I come from, we had to still past 5-6 years we used to still control on the different IP networks and port-based accesses for this particular interactions with different vendors and different third-party service providers for us. But all these third-party service providers are now becoming API integrated. And as a software engineering practice, now we have to look at what is this API architecture looking like, what all the data points are getting exposed to, because ultimately we are protecting data. That's why we will have a quick view into cybersecurity also. And with staying at data, data engineering has actually completely evolved, because we are seeing businesses, they are crunching this data for their different products. We are seeing businesses getting evolved because of having huge amount of data sets. That is what is the whole data age, which we call from a cyber age to data age, wherein the data becomes very, very prime target. Obviously, from a data privacy angle, there's a different story. But when it comes to actual harnessing the potential of the data which is lying inside a DBMS or maybe Oracle systems which have been legacy systems for long, we want to pull that out into Tableau and really draw real value out to the business teams so that they can understand what is the right product to be written. As simple as adoption of say usage of Netflix, right? What kind of web series you have been watching, or what is the genre of movies you like sci-fi, or you might be consuming a lot of say fun videos, right? So that is where the entire heuristics of usage patterns is crunched, and then Netflix would be recommending you similar patterns. That is whole point of data engineering, and that is where a separate arm of software engineers are required to actually draw this particular value set to the business team, so that then they can partner with the right data sets and right media companies, so that they can onboard all those say media files. And that's where I'm saying that it is the technology was a vital support for the business, with the different techs coming up like ed tech, fintech, farm tech, and everything. But now I see that it is actually driving the business. The entire business is run because of technology. If there is no technology, there would be no business. That is where it is a driving factor for the business, and that's where we see all senior engineers, be it at the development wing or maybe at the software engineering cycle, they have got the business level clearances. I mean, we are sitting with the business teams and analyzing what kind of potential data the other partner is bringing to us. So that is what is driving the growth as of now, and it will continue for the same pattern. But what exactly is this industrial revolution 5, and what will be the typical highlights for that? So I guess artificial intelligence and machine learning are being used for driving the automation. And by automation, I mean it is just not removing the redundant task. It is actually now gone past that limit. I mean, it was still used for doing a lot of redundant tasks and repetitive tasks, which could be automated by using systems. But now we are seeing AI and ML really adding value, giving that value chain benefits to the existing supply chain or also existing business processes which are there on the ground. The 5G internet connectivity changes this entire domain because all these small systems which are automated, can connect through, this 5G internet connectivity. I mean, just not internet; it is actually a seamless network in itself, which will be driving the IoT in the larger scale. And as obviously we have said that technology is now synonymous with the business, because business would be harnessing the technology potential. Technology enables the business to take further more decisions, and software engineers are also getting, aided with this AI development, because we would see very soon AI development, AI actually assisting the software engineers to write the right code, and in fact assisting them. We already have low code, no code, scenarios existing for various full stack development, and those templates really help in what you can say accelerating the entire CI/CD pipeline and delivery of the entire DevOps wings. What will be the controls needed, for the humans and AI world? As I was hearing Elon Musk saying that it is us versus the robots, down the line, and he could really envisage that, for the near future, that will be kind of a apprehension, and we will be trying to, compete ourselves against the artificial intelligence. So obviously, we will have to govern the human-aided technology, and we have to govern the entire governance process of it. And obviously, the software integrity of these AI programs is the next challenge. So as engineers, we are, have to take this up forefront to actually deploy the right controls right at the design level, because if we are assessing and we are trying to do certain changes or modifications at the after the product has been launched, it is obviously, we have all know that it is very very immense taskful, and it takes a lot of time. So obviously it is painful also. So we have to be very very calculative while designing the entire framework, and for designing we need to upskill ourselves with that particular technology, like as I said, AI, ML. These are all emerging technologies, blockchain, and if we don't know the entire design pattern in itself, and we start developing the applications on top of this particular stacks, it would be immensely irresponsible for us. So we should understand these stacks. We should be the ones who are completely governing the entire integrity of these things. And with that, I bring my next topic as like cyber warfare. That I'm a cyber expert, as I said, and being a cybersecurity expert, I see that entire national economy of various different emerging economies, not just emerging, even developed world, we'll see that the entire economy is getting started to develop or kind of depend on the technology landscape. And we have already seen this kind of effects in in US, where there has been an attack on the colonial pipeline, oil pipeline, which was targeted for cybersecurity threat, and it was hampering the entire economy, because the entire process of delivering of gas across the east coast was completely hampered, and it adversely affects the entire supply chain of various logistic businesses, and different businesses are getting impacted as a domino effect to that. So that's where that would be also one of the things that we have to be very much concerned about. And last but not least, the digital privacy, which is also part of cyber security, and we have to understand that how in this hyper connected world, how our privacy is also getting impacted, how our privacy is getting breached. So as software engineers, we should write the code which should be able to kind of caretake this particular responsibility on our shoulders, that we are governing the privacy at the right end. And we see technology giants like Apple, when they launched a new iPhone, they were all about privacy, and their advertisements and everything. Their entire media campaign was centered towards privacy of the users, of iPhone users, and that's where it is centerpiece. But what exactly is changing for software engineers? You'll say that I'm a software engineer. I have been developing on Rust framework, or maybe I've been developing on Golang. And what exactly is changing? And I mean, what are the things which are as I said, from my industry perspective, these are the things which are changing. But for software engineering and for software development, as the audience is from the development background, let's understand what is getting changed on that front. So we are seeing that application which are having augmented reality and virtual reality and connected to IoT is something which is gaining traction a lot. There is a lot of applications, not just for the consumption by the media industry, or maybe by the gaming industry, which is augmented reality and virtual reality. In fact, various military systems, federated controlled military systems which are leveraging drone equipments are kind of relying on augmented reality and virtual reality, wherein a lot of data of satellite data and everything is getting collated and given to these developers so that they can develop a very profound AR VR, so that the next warfare, whatever happens, we are sitting back at a central command location and driving these drones at the right location. So that is where the defense forces and the Department of Defense, DoD, is also driving a lot of initiatives for AR, VR, and IoT kind of connectivity devices. Yeah, software systems are also changing. When I say it's a hyper-connected world now, it is no more that financial transaction. When I come from financial systems, as I said, the financial services has also changed a lot. It is earlier it used to take a lot of maker and checker and a lot of check bases and everything for really transferring it. But the adoption of blockchain and distributed ledger for currencies like Bitcoin and everything, wherein a transaction which happens, say today in say in Florida, and we have to kind of do the remuneration, say in say Budapest or something in say Mumbai. It has to happen across within minutes and within seconds. In fact, the entire remuneration of the financial transaction happens because of obviously the distributed ledger which has been developed on the back end of the blockchain technology. So that is where hyperconnectivity helps, because if the systems were not connected, if the entire blockchain enterprise domains which have been written for that particular software were not connected to internet, they could not have exchanged this data, and the particular transaction would not have happened. So it is all because of the rise in the telecom industry and rise in the connections of various domains that it is able to connect it. I already talked about the cloud, adoption and cloud DevOps and cloud-based, cloud-native app development and usage of low-code, no-code templates. I mean, I was, kind of sitting with the development team for half an hour just at the start of the last week, and we were actually kind of, stuck up in kind of adoption of 2 or 3 different ERP processes. And I said that if we have, if we look at the Merge stack, and we could have adopted certain low code or no code from the particular Merge stack community, and we could deliver it within a span of 2 or 3 days. We could actually deliver the entire suite of services for that particular module, and that is very accelerated development, because having seen the industry for past a decade, I see this kind of development is very agile. I mean, it is hyper agile for me, because obviously the environment is changing, and the adoption of low code no code templates will definitely drive, and the full stacks are very much open to this kind of adoption. Then comes the open source AI machine learning systems, which have to be very, very open source, because in the open source environment we could actually govern what is being written for the artificial intelligence driven softwares, because it's all feedback control. And as I said, it is onto us to avoid the calamity which Elon Musk predicts of having a warfare with the artificial intelligence robots which we are trying to develop. So I mean, that is something which is quite sci-fi still. But what as a software engineering technocrat, I believe that it should be made open source, all the AI learning systems, so that obviously, and that is where the systems are getting directed to. Data-aware automated systems are also being developed, and how are these data-aware automated system governing the data engineering field is no more that we require all the data to be pooled in to certain data lakes and data warehouses. We want the systems to automate the entire data profiling in itself. So it's like an endpoint. We're giving the computing of edge computing, which is being referred to as nowadays, that we are having that much of compute capability at the end locations, at the end devices. Why not harness that? I mean, why are we still relying on bringing all the data sets to the central relational database systems or maybe data warehouses? So I mean, that is where the entire thing is going on. And when I say govern the entire tech revolution which is going to happen, we need to also understand that strict governance will be really required to understand the different challenges from the capacity building as well as the future planning perspective as to what exactly we kind of develop into, and we do not end up in closing our doors after we develop everything. So we should be able to access it, and we need to do it. What are the changing trends in the development? What I have seen that companies are kind of automating, and they are having CI/CD pipelines. I mean, typically the DevOps verticals which are doing. I'm seeing a lot of attraction of this jQuery still runs the things. Angular and React, there is a huge competition between Angular and React, and that's why I said mean and stacks are also going that on that way. NoSQL and MongoDBs have been swift adopting databases technologies. Python has been the fastest growing language, and we see adoption of Python just not for data engineering or machine learning. It is across the entire development landscape, wherein a lot of frameworks like Rust and all have developed themselves, and they're actually taking up this entire object-oriented programming languages, which have been have been very what you can say, they have been very rudimentary, or they have been actually having very fixed structures, and microservices are actually the ones which are actually driving this particular adoption of full stack, as well as the adoption of Python based application. And that's what I said, the exponential rate of adoption of Dockers, microservices, and full stack development. That is what it is happening, and that will continue at least for next 3-4 years. That is what I'm saying. I mean, that is for sure. We would be seeing a lot of changes in this adoption, and the rate of adoption, and the systems which have been existing onto the other platforms which are not Docker based or microservices will start becoming legacy, will start becoming obsolete, and they would want themselves to kind of innovate and make their particular application or source code rewritten in these new stacks and new languages. And that is what is driving this particular growth in software engineering. As you can see, this was the slide. I mean, when Docker was introduced, the year, I guess it was 2019 or 1819, wherein Docker was introduced for the first time. And when the year itself it was introduced, within a year, we see it is coming up to the third position after Linux and Windows. Docker is at 31.5% of adoption. I mean, that is the growth of Docker, we can see. And why is this growth? Because of obviously the microservices based application architecture. So application architects are the ones who are driving this Docker consumption. And then obviously we have cloud and Android and mobile development, which is also because of the growth in mobile edge computing. I will come to that also. And obviously the cloud stack is also increasing. So this is still in the we can see Linux and Windows based server infrastructure is still running at around 50% each. But yes, definitely we would be seeing a faster adoption of Dockers, and this is going to change in the past coming in the future coming years. And then we see that, as I said, the entire Docker adoption is becoming possible because we see 51.9% developers are becoming full stack developers. A few of the logos, I mean, to demonstrate that it is a full stack thing. And yes, that is where I see cyber from coming from those software engineering vertical. I now kind of switch to my expertise as of now, which as I said, I'm an SME for cyber. We are seeing the cyber attack is increasing, and it is quadrupled because of this particular technology adoption and technology changes. Firstly, we are seeing the hardware is getting cheaper. I mean, there are supply chain issues nowadays, which I'm hearing from various silicon manufacturers of various chips. But I mean, that is still a temporary because of the pandemic, and that will go off. And the hardware is becoming very cheap. I mean, the smartphones are having octa-core 3.7 gigahertz. I mean, that is huge. And if you ask a senior technocrat like me, who has seen megahertz in a desktop machine or in a server actually, who is running Windows or even Mac servers, which we had used to have, were still running 1 gigahertz, and that was a huge potential of having a 1 gigahertz compute cycle. And now we are seeing that particular potential right in palm of different hands, and that is what is driving the entire thing, right? We are seeing adoption of network connectivity from going from gigabit per second to terabytes per second, and it is still nostalgic for me to see that particular domains of Netscape Navigator who are still used to take a lot of time to consume bits per second. I mean, that's has completely gone off to kilobytes, to megabytes, to now terabytes per second. That is what we are talking about. And if we are having so much of fast connectivity across the globe, you can imagine what is the potential we are trying to harness, right? So obviously, this particular potential is at the hands of hackers also, and hackers are interested in causing the damage at large. They are not interested in attacking a particular geography or a particular application. They are targeting the entire globe to obviously gain both financial as well as disruption at the end. So from a cybersecurity angle, I see that it is prevention, detection, response, all has to be done by cyber engineers. We have to identify and design and try to protect the key resources. So we have to understand what are the key resources, then design the security strategy for that. And that cybersecurity is now not just concentrated to a particular industry. As we see the technology revolution happening across all the sectors, right from pharmaceutical industry to power grid to oil pipelines to technology itself. We are seeing that we have to have cybersecurity professionals guarding that. So that's an immense potential in the vertical, apart from the full stack development and AI, ML, as well as blockchain, which I talked about. Cybersecurity is also equally challenging field. And what was exactly is this field of cybersecurity? So when I was talking about what exactly is cybersecurity, so cyberspace is the entire space between through which data and information is flowing. I mean, that is what it is. So now imagine there's an IoT kind of a landscape wherein there are small sensors who are trying to transfer the data of various refinery-based systems, or maybe critical systems which are trying to communicate different information. The entire space becomes a cyberspace because ultimately they are going to get connected to internet through some channel or the other. And cybersecurity is to protect this particular cyberspace, and that is what it is all about, right? From securing it to, in fact, ensuring data privacy of the end individuals. What are these hackers, and how are we governing this particular things? So in a nutshell, I'll just quickly go through the different different heads or different hats. So we have a black hat, techies who are real techie engineers who are focused towards developing certain malwares or viruses. These are very, very few. I mean, these are very, very good set of them. But yes, I mean, they have vested interest in exploiting certain technology, and that's where they are developing certain tools. Then there are hacktivists, who are typically driven for kind of attacking a separate field of domains. For example, there can be activists who are very much concerned about climate change, and they start attacking the petrochemical industries, or maybe oil refineries like Aramco, or maybe other companies, right? That there can be activists like that who are targeting certain industry for that particular reason. And obviously, that's where the systems are at large at danger. Third are the state-sponsored attackers, which are very critical because North Korea and there can be different state-sponsored threats like maybe which I've seen in Iran and North Korea, which have been very much targeted towards attacking, or maybe are also seeing a lot of advanced persistent threats going in the Chinese systems, which have been also detected. So we have to be aware of these state-sponsored attackers because they are sponsored by the state, and they are typically attacked towards the attack vectors are towards federal systems, maybe towards Federal Reserve banks and everything. So that is where they are typically targeted towards gaining that economical advantage. Next are cyber fraudsters and corporate espionage, which happens. They are typically causing business damages to the other businesses, and they are typically targeted to harness the financial potential of the particular attack victim, right? And last but not the least, and the most dangerous of all of them, are the script kiddies. I mean, they are the most dangerous because we don't know their intention and what are their target vectors. So we don't know a script kiddie which has got this particular potential of running certain tools on Kali box, and he is actually trying to run a few of the systems, and he has got a range of IP addresses of public cloud infrastructure, which is say hosted on AWS, and he starts targeting one after the other, and those particular systems are not well protected, they can be brought down. It is just out of the sake of fun by the script kiddies that he has tried to do it. And obviously it is they are huge challenge in itself because we don't know which are the geography or which are the blacklisting domains which can actually stop this particular attack vectors coming from script kiddies. With that, actually, I will start and open this forum for your queries and make it more interactive. Um, yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Shashank, for that wonderful presentation. Would encourage people to go ahead and ask questions that they may have. All right. I do not see any questions yet on the Q&A box. Did Shashank do such a great job? You don't have any questions from him?
It should have been more questions. I mean, that's where, because I've left a lot of things open for discussion. That's where I said let's have a tech discussion at the end, because a lot of things are open. That's what I want to hear from all of you.
So as per the intro poll that we started, we understood that we had a very balanced audience today. 2 years were almost the same as the 3 to 9 year work experience group, and a lot of them were interested in understanding they could build their careers. Now, if you have folks, if you have any questions related to particular areas, right? Shashank covered a lot of sections and a lot of specializations themselves in the edtech, in the software development space. So feel free to ask any specific questions based on what you're thinking about career progression. Are you thinking of a transition? Are you thinking of accelerating your careers in the same field, etc.? So Shashank, I think I have one question for you on behalf of all the learners that have asked us questions in the past. Uh, what if I want to choose between cybersecurity, blockchain, and full stack development, right? And I currently am a Java developer, so I'm like equally flexible into moving into all of these fields, while full stack would be something that you know fits my current profile better. But it's all about learning something new. So what would you recommend for that? And two, what would you say is the best way to navigate this, right? Where do I get started?
Right. So, good question. I mean, yes, that's what everyone is concerned about. And being a Java developer, I mean, the Java has been a technology domain for real long. I mean, I've seen it for the past decade. It has been existing. It is very stagnant and it is on the decline. I said it is. It is. I'm not saying it's a sunset kind of a thing, but it is still in decline. And we need to adopt new, frameworks like full stack development, as you said, cloud native app development, which you can look at. Being a Java developer, you are pro development, and I would recommend those particular set of developers who have very good hands-on on developing Java applications. They can try out full stack cloud native app development. Look at a DevOps side of it if you are interested in cloud, because cloud adoption is going to it's just started. I mean, people used to say that cloud is a thing of past and everything. I say that it is still not adopted to its potential. So it is, and that's where we see a lot of businesses like AWS and Google and Microsoft have just stepped in with their Azure, life cycle. So I mean, that's a huge potential which even Microsoft Azure team sees, right? That's where they are investing. So for recommending for the skilling of cells, obviously there are various courses within upgrad, and you can look at those particular course materials and particular verticals. Cyber, I would recommend for those individuals who are kind of stuck up in that admin, system admin kind of portfolios, and their profiles are typically in network admins and everything. I think that this is the right juncture. They should start looking at cyber security more seriously. They could look at developing their skill sets on cyber security, because these technologies like networking administration and system administration, in fact, for the DevOps side, even if there are database administrators who are still running administration of Oracle databases, that is very soon a legacy now. So you should obviously come to the from the data engineering side or at the cybersecurity side. That is what I look at.
Understood. We've got a couple of questions from Yadus. Yadus, are you trying to get your assignment answered by Shashank? He's asking all very specific questions. Uh, so I think you also see the screen. There's very specific questions on how can I keep my code safe, which are the tools required for keeping track of software requirements, very specific ones. Do you want to pick up either of them, or if you think it
Yeah.
makes sense for like the larger audience?
Yeah, so yeah, I would answer those in a nutshell. Really is trying. He has a lot of questions with regards to different things. Yes. So this week we have to understand that software engineering in itself requires multiple tools, right? The CI/CD pipeline, which is like continuous integration and continuous delivery of the sec DevOps or DevOps vertical, and I'm building security on top of it, and I'm calling sec DevOps because that's what I see is going to merge and have it. So there are various tools, and there are various good tools. I mean, there are tools which you would require for managing like Jira and everything to manage the track version changes and everything. What we used to use SVN, you could be do it on the Git lab and everything nowadays, right? So I mean, there are different tools for the different type of development. Obviously, I'm not a subject matter expert in recommending any tool because it is up to a development team, which comfort they have. So that is where it is. And how to keep a code safe? Obviously, you have to follow OAP's top 10 guidelines for secure coding. If you are developing an API now, OAPs will actually come up with their API API top 10 vulnerabilities also. So that is where OASP is. Guys, I'm answering you. So according to me, SDLC cycle, which is the best. Obviously, it is an agile model, which is the best. We are gone away with the waterfall model of SDLC, and I would not call SDLC as just SDLC. Now it is like a secure SDLC, which I call, because I don't want to develop a security engineering vertical within itself. That's where even in when we are kind of developing the cybersecurity model for upgrade, we kept that as a separate stream in software development itself, because software development and software security is going to converge down the line. It is just matter of years, which I'm talking about, that separate AppSec or separate vulnerability assessment team exists. So agile workflow is very best, and a CI/CD pipeline to deliver the agile Scrum controlled stuff is very good. So that is where it is. Um, yeah, that is where I would try to answer to others.
Thank you. Abdul is asking, can you differentiate between the hackers when you want to employ to the company or organization? Is he asking about ethical hacking?
Yes, yeah, that definitely Abdul. So how to he's asking actually how to differentiate between the hackers or at time of kind of an employee for the organization. Yes, so it is actually what we call differentiating between ethical hackers and the black hat or the hackers who are trying to cause damage. So ethical hackers have a special code. I mean, they do not do or do not conduct any security assessment in the wild. So their main issues or their main concern of ethical hacker is to make the system more robust, make the gaps more evident to the development wing. And also one of the points of security engineers or good hackers is that, or ethical hackers, is that the software engineering, they are more concerned about the remediation of those gaps which they discover rather than exploiting those gaps. So that is a major difference between ethical hackers and the hackers which are existing. They are predominantly driven. The black hat techies are predominantly driven to develop exploits to kind of bring down the systems or kind of cause damage to the systems. Whereas ethical hackers, they are more focused towards providing the right control or providing the right patch to the particular gap which they have discovered. So it is like I discover that this is a gap, and I'm the one who's trying to remediate the same. That's a whole difference, Abdul.
Sure. So while we are answering all of these questions, it's also important for all of you to know that Upgrad also provides all your software development courses, which range from advanced certifications to executive programs to your master's degrees. And all the specializations that Shashank covered today in the presentation are in some way or the covered or the other covered as specializations in the upgrad courses as well. So when Shashank talks of cloud native, that's one specialization. There's cybersecurity as one specialization. There's full stack development. There's uh, there's blockchain as well. So all, I think a lot of things that Shashank covered today are already present as cut and ready courses for you to pursue if you want to really try and understand things from scratch. And usually a good way to start, say like the one question that I was asking, right, Shashank, how does somebody start if he wants to say move from a project manager into cybersecurity, or a Java developer into blockchain or cloud native, right? So these courses are specifically designed for such people looking at transitioning smoothly and successfully without having to navigate the whole ocean of information that's out there available for you. So these courses range from 6 months to 18 months in duration, and all of you can pursue these whenever you think the time is right for you to start pursuing without having to leave your current job. So that's the beauty and the charm of these programs. And all you get along with doing it alongside your job is also access to peers from 85 plus countries who are pursuing this course along with you, and access to industry-wide mentors. Now Shashank is taking this session talking to you about career opportunities in software development. Now you're going to have so many more sessions from a chief executive, a chief information officer, or a chief security officer of IBM, of Capgemini, of all the leading software organizations in the world that you'd like to be a part of. So that's what Upgrad offers you, and I wanted to bring that across before before folks left the meeting and carried on with their daily business as usual. So I think Yadus has some more questions. Do you want to pick up one of them or two of them? Which process model removes defects before software gets into trouble?
Yeah. So I mean that it is like a software engineering methodology which has to be adopted. It's like you have to actually have the CI/CD pipeline deliver it in the different stages. So you should have a development environment, SIT integration model, wherein you integrate your code with the different modules of the existing system, or maybe a new system which you are developing from the scratch. So you have to, it's a piecemeal approach. So you have to be closely integrating and closely stitching the entire stuff itself. So it is just not a certain thing which is written and it has to be delivered. It has to go cohesively into the as a block within the entire system in itself. So you have to be it has to be done in a pre-prod environment and bug fixing environment. It's the QA team and the UAT team which is also looking at it. And that's what I said, that entire DevOps, the entire practice is evolving. And as I said, this has to be removed in itself. So it's an entire software engineering process which does it. And I said it's more of getting delivered in the right cycle, right? As I said, in the agile workflows and in the right pattern of developing it in the software development environment, then pushing it to the UAT testing and doing a pre-prod bug fixing before it is finally released to the client or to the customer, right? So that is, that's all it is about.
All right. I'm also trying to understand from everybody while you're here, just help us understand how you found the session so far. And if you'd like to receive further communication from us on all of these exciting sessions that we keep conducting, and in the fields of across all the fields like software development, machine learning, artificial intelligence, data science, product management, and management in general. So Yadus has still some more questions. I think I can see one question from Arijit. So it's a long question. most of the Indian government companies are completely shifting to privatization, where humans will be selected mostly on the basis of their skills or and the basic education. I'm a 22-year-old front-end developer, and the competition in any career has skyrocketed. Any career field which is on high demand may now be totally finished by upcoming years through automation. What do you think of upcoming types of jobs, careers in technology?
Yeah, Ajay. So I mean, as Meda was saying, that you have to take your skill set and upgrade. Really has those courses which has been making ready for different systems. I completely second to the same thought, and I say that there is no juncture, or there is no point in which you should think twice that whether I should upskill or take this skill set or not. The skill sets which are for the emerging technologies are always kind of a additional arsenal in your curriculum vitae. I mean, that's what your CV enhancement is all about, right? So you should obviously give a learning curve whenever it's possible for you to take up that. And you're right. I mean, the technology vertical, even in the federation, as you said, the government structures and different verticals are also changing. From a typical human-based approach to a machine learning-based, or in fact, automation is actually driving certain jobs to be changed, and that's where the whole upskilling is all about. What Medha was talking about. If we continue to stick with the same domain, or continue not to upskill ourselves with the different new age technologies which are coming in, we are at the at the losing side of the demographics, right? So we have to be on the winning side, and we have to upskill, and obviously start to learn newer technologies and newer areas of interest, obviously, because if there is immense interest in development, you choose the full stack side, or cloud native app development, and there are various verticals within blockchain and everything. So that's where I guess that it is no sooner or later. I mean, have to be on the winning side, and I guess that it is for every technocrat who's listening out to me. I mean, you should start doing it, in some way or the other. I mean, that's where it's all about. Yeah.
Right. And I think you're a recent graduate, right? With and you should be thinking that this is just the beginning. Everyone has had to pivot their careers over and over again. It's not about, hey, I chose one stream of engineering and that's where all the learning ended, unlike what we've always been told. It's always about lifelong learning and how you continue to pivot yourself in your career. And just an example, I think I was reading an article where I read by 2025, blockchain would have had 85 million vacancies as in the form of jobs across the globe, right? That's a huge number. So while you think that there could be admin related jobs that Shashank was talking about, which could no longer be existing, there's so many more jobs opening up in all the fields that we're talking about right now. Cyber security is growing at about 36% in the next 4 years. Cloud native is growing at about 41% in the next 4 years. So these are huge numbers that tell you that there is demand, and if you act on it right now, if you upskill yourself right now, you would be in a lot of demand in the coming years. All right. Yadus is asking, is WBS required in Agile?
Yeah, it is. It is good to have it. Yeah, those in the agile workflows. Yeah. Whereas I'm going to second the thought that he's trying to cover up his assignment by me.
That is what you thought. Okay, I was thinking of those lines. We should allow him to like stick around for some more time after this session, and we'll definitely ask him that. So yeah, for all of you, all the others, feel free to go ahead and explore programs and courses on the link that I've shared with you, and also reach out to us for any questions you may have, any questions which weren't answered during this session. And all right, all of you would like to receive communication from us for future webinars. That's great to know. And about 80% feel that this session met or exceeded their expectations. So congratulations, Shashank.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, yeah, thank you all, and it was good for putting out my viewpoints to all of you. So yeah, I guess you do that learning curve. I mean, yeah, do that unlearning and relearning again and again. I mean, that should be a continuous thing in your technocrat life.
Absolutely. So, all the best to all of you in your upskilling journey and your career ahead. Do know that as Shashank and I discussed, that this is having a career is a very long journey, and as a technocrat, you'll always find opportunities to keep learning and upskilling. And we're happy to be your upskilling partners and be there to support you in your career transitions or accelerations wherever you are. And thank you all for your time. Thank you so much, Shashank. Look forward to having another session with you again soon.
Sure. Thank you all. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Good day.